What does life have in common with the 2003 hit single I Believe in a Thing Called Love? The darkness. Thus, we begin today's episode with a splash of humor. For if, as Voltaire said, God is a comedian playing to an audience too afraid to laugh, then maybe yours truly will prove himself to be a little less of an intimidating figure. And now that first blood has been drawn on this most current discussion, I must begin by apologizing. I am not at the peak of my powers today. And to further doodle on Voltaire's picture, it seems like God, the comedian, is doing some crowd work. And I'm sitting on the front row wearing a hat. A big black ball just came into being in my daughter's bedroom. I don't know what the BBB is, I don't know what the BBB does, and I don't know what the BBB wants. But it's there, and it's in my daughter's bedroom. But its a present location doesn't seem to bear any particular significance because its general effect on the ambiance can be felt. It pervades whatever upon I decide to set my weird self. And so as a consequence, my wife has taken my daughter and they are staying at my parents' manor until I deal with the situation. And deal with it I shall. The good news is, she's still coming over, my wife that is, to our weekly game nights. In fact, just 2 nights ago, we had our bi-monthly fisting night, where we played 2 games by German designer Alexander Pfister. So we played Great Western Trail, and we played, of course, Blackout Hong Kong, which is the polarizing game that I was supposed to be talking about today. Yeah, suppose I say. Because, and again, my sincere and deep apologies, especially to Mr. Pfister, because I've been told that he's been sitting in front of the computer for 2 weeks, pressing refresh on YouTube all the time, just waiting for today's episode. But in my feeble state, I am not capable of getting down and dirty with that piece of strangely colored cardboard. Instead, I would like to wrestle with a different subject, with that of life. Sometimes, when waves of melancholy crash against the reef of my person, I aspire to futility and take to thinking. And at times like these, when the only line of defense against despair seems to be ennui, I think about how my mother sees life, as a logistics and planning puzzle. According to Mother, life can be boiled down to this. You wake up every morning and you have a limited amount of resources at your disposal. Maybe you have food in your fridge, maybe you have fuel in your car. Hell, if you have enough money, you have all the resources in the world at your disposal. So anyway, depending on what you want to achieve with your day and the possibilities you have, you start to make your plans. So for example, if you have enough tools and you have time, you might as well think, oh, I reckon I should go outside and fix my car then. So, you go outside and you fix your car. And as my mother says, doing something that you plan to do, actually achieving it, is an undeniable proof of your own existence. And I cannot deny that there's a small amount of joy that can be squeezed out of ticking boxes out of your to-do list. And this is where it starts to get tricky. This, according to my mother, is where most people fail. It's also where it starts to get more interesting, more complex, because everything you do throughout your day, everything in your to-do list, should be in service of a greater design, a greater plan for your life. So for example, you're not just fixing your car just to fix your car. You're fixing your car so you can drive down to the shop, so you can buy a light bulb, so you can read in bed, so you can appease the demons in your nightmares, the one that want to eat your hair, so you can sleep a little better, so you can die a little later. So planning is the most important thing of all. For without it, we are just going back and forth, never finishing anything that we set out to do. Having all our objectives, all our goals just piling up like so many ideas for novels on my desk. Very well, so you're going about your day and you're doing everything you have to do in service of your grand design. You are cooking meals, you are sending faxes, you're composing lovely poems on the sad beauty of a dead bud. But is that enough? Well, according to my mother, it is not. She says you must also keep an eye peeled for any opportunity that might arise around you. And if you see something that will give you a boost, an extra advantage, well, just take it, seize it. For example, if you see a fellow artist walking down the street and you know that they are well connected, well, invite them for a coffee, why don't you? See what you can squeeze out of the poor fool. Or if you see a pair of slacks on a shop window without which you cannot possibly go on living a decent life, take it. Buy them. These are things you didn't plan for. And so even if they hurt you a little bit, maybe your pocket or your hide, still, they will bear their fruit. Only you must choose wisely. So, you did all your errands, you did everything you set out to do, so now what? Well, if you're an optimist misanthrope, I'm afraid this may come as a terrible surprise, but tomorrow brings along a new day. And as such, you will need new things to do. You will need to build your next to-do list. But while you do so, you must keep in mind what your grand design is. What is your ultimate plan? So, for example, your main goal is to write a great Portuguese novel. Maybe something that you have to do tomorrow is write something. On the other hand, if you want to become the best Italian chef on the market, then maybe learn how to cook some gluten-free farfalle. Then you get yourself cleaned up, you take a shower, you tidy up your flat, you sit on your couch, and now you must consider this. Have you accomplished what you set out to accomplish in this life? Have you completed one of your life's main goals? Have you finished that novel? Have you given birth to a small child? Have you completed your work in the cathedral? If so, congratulations. Good on you. Part of your life's objective is completed. Now, gather your thoughts, go to bed, sleep well, and tomorrow wake up because you're going to do it all over again. And that's how my mother lives. Think, plan, execute, accomplish, repeat. The T-pair process. And by religiously following this process, she has become a giant in the field of existential business, which is her field. She has accomplished almost everything that she has set out to accomplish in life. Almost everything. Yes, she failed to do one thing. You are looking at it. Yes, in her mind, her life is almost besmirched by this almost. She never got your faithful narrator to see life the way she does. And it's not by lack of trying on either part, I can tell you that. I mean, her process makes sense. Everything fits together. It's filled with great ideas. I mean, it's strict but rubbery. It allows you to improvise your way through the whims of circumstance. It's endlessly challenging as it forces you to really focus on what you have in front of you, to really think about every decision, every consequence, every step, every misstep, every branching out path that you can take or not. It's the rational way to operate. but I remember I was 12 years old. I had taken every step, just like my mother taught me. I thought, I planned, I executed, I repeated. Day after day, I labored, committed and steadfast way beyond my youth. Until one day, I accomplished it. I released a poetry book. It was called Red-Faced Modigliani and the Free-Fallen Green Banana. It was well received, despite my immaturity and my potty pen. I got some mild to good reviews, but why did it feel so empty? Why, having secured something for which I worked so hard, did I feel like nothing had really changed in my life? Sure, I had a book out, I had some new contacts and new options, but it didn't feel any different as before. I was disillusioned. Never wrote a poem again. I don't know. Securing something that vital should mean some kind of something, shouldn't it? But I suppose not. Just good for you, lad. Tomorrow, do it again. And 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 tomorrow, do it again. Until someone wins. Sure, my mother lived like that. And it really worked for her, as I've said. But she lived alone. Sure, she shares a roof with my father. Both of them are together, but alone, really. Even when we were little, we would all be within the same four walls, but all of us just doing their own thing. I would be doing whatever I was doing. My sister would be doing her mathematics. My mother, her thing. But we were all alone. And I need more than that. I need a human touch. If life is just planning and logistics, then what does the nature of my passion matter? If the sublime is an aesthetic rather than the essence, then what kind of stories are we telling each other? What's the point of Dostoevsky? What do our actions matter? What does it matter whether if we live in Orense, Hong Kong, Texas, Mombasa, if all we are is machines? This little boy wants more. This little boy wants the flaws of flesh. This little boy wants the colors of chaos. This little boy wants the fire of ambition. This little boy wants to take the fruit and eat it. I want to consume a soul every day. Well, I have to go feed the BBB, lest it grows any further. I have been Jaime Duarte, and I hope to have placed a worker in your hearts and in your minds.